Yep.
All right.
There you go.
Sweet.
So then check your 2 over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's
So
going.
that's going out live.
And now hit the go
You
live
can
button.
go live on that one.
Okay, and then
And
hit this push alert thing.
And then hit send notification and we'll clear out.
All right, thank you. Let's move this up a little bit. There we are. Welcome to our Action 2 Sports Chat. We're talking Packers, we're talking Vikings. It's already week 12, and it's been 11 weeks since the Packers have played another member of the NFC North. They will have 5 of their final 7 games in the division. How wild is that? Of course, get your questions in on our Facebook page. We're streaming here on WBAY.com, our YouTube page, as well as our Facebook page. I'd love to answer any and all questions you have over the next, 10 to 15 minutes before we have to get ready for Action 2 News at 6. The big questions revolving injuries. Well, Jordan Love was a full participant in today's Packers practice. This despite that left shoulder injury he suffered against the Giants last week. I'm pulling up for you the injury report. You can't really see it, but there's a lot of Packer names on that list. Wrist for Romeo Doubs. He was limited today. Now a wrist in addition to the shoulder for wide receiver Matthew Golden. Not practicing. That list is 4 players long, including running back Josh Jacobs, who, of course, left Sunday's win with a knee injury in New York. Savion Williams did not practice. He fought through that foot injury to make that huge third down catch to save the day. 2 others not participating, Nate Hobbs at cornerback, as well as Quay Walker at linebacker. A lot of starters on that list. All told, it's a very, very lengthy list for the Packers. Javon Bullard popped up with an ankle today, appeared to be hampered by that in the portion of practice that we were allowed to view today. When you look at this matchup, it's big for a number of reasons. But first and foremost, if you want to win the North, you got to do a lot better than 1-5 in the North. That was the Packers' record last year, and they needed a Carl Brooks fingernail block of a field goal at Chicago to get their only win within the division. Of course, this season they started gangbusters by beating the brakes off of the Lions in week 1, but now they've bided their time, and now they wait to really hit it hard with 5 of the final 7 again against the NFC North. It's home to the Vikings, road on Thanksgiving to the Lions, home to the Bears. After that, they travel to Denver, which is currently the 1 seed in the AFC. Then they travel to Chicago on a Saturday game, home to the Ravens, who are starting to put it all together, and then on the road at Minnesota. A really tough closing stretch. A chance for the Packers to really prove themselves and improve their playoff positioning. Right now, if the postseason started, Green Bay would be the 6th seed. Not so great, but they'd be headed to Chicago for the first round of the playoffs in the wild card, and I think a lot of people would enjoy that matchup. The Packers just 1 setback at Soldier Field since the 2010 NFC Championship game. Of course, get your questions in again on our Facebook page. It's going to be a lot of fun to see what this matchup brings for Green Bay. The Vikings boast a really intricate defense at times with exotic blitzes from Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator of the Vikings. He has gotten the better of Jordan Love a little bit. Last year at home, Love was coming back from the knee injury he sustained in Brazil. It was his first game back. He had like a career-high pass attempts, like 48. He threw 3 picks. Tucker Kraft had a fumble. The turnover tale told the story. And when you look at last year's Vikings team against this year's Vikings team, the big difference, as I can see with their defense, is just the turnover margin. Last year they had 33 takeaways. That was the most in the league. This year just 9. Their margin this year -9 as a team. Of course, with J.J. McCarthy, his first year as a starter, and Carson Wentz filling in when McCarthy was injured, they've given the ball away, and they haven't taken it away as much. The Packers only 8 takeaways this season. They were one of the league leaders last year in takeaways too. Our first question, kicking situation doesn't seem in a good place. Is there a third option? Well, there's a million options if you look outside the roster, but with a 3-year contract for Brandon McManus, I expect them to stick with him probably a little bit longer. He was a full participant in practice today, despite the injury that kept him out on Sunday, opening the door for Lucas Haversick to kick in those windy gale force conditions at the Meadowlands. Haversick was hitting some bombs in pregame warmups, but that wind was a lot to handle for the pass catchers, the throwers, the kickers on both sides. Of course, Haversick missing 2 extra points. He had entered 10 for 10 on the season in relief of McManus. Looks like McManus will probably get to do the kicking duties on Sunday if he's cleared on the injury front. When you look forward to some of the keys to victory against this Vikings team, their defense this year's 10th overall, they're 7th against the pass. They are more susceptible to the run. I think that's a really big area for the Packers to focus. Josh Jacobs likely, I would say likely not to play after not practicing today and not returning Sunday. Can Emmanuel Wilson in the ground game get it going? They haven't really done so all season long. They face a team they might be able to get it going against, but that was the case last week. The Giants had the worst run defense in the world, giving up 5.5 yards per carry coming in, but where Green Bay made its headway was in the air, downfield passing last week. Another fun tidbit is 'tis the season, right? Toyotathon is here, and why does anyone care about a car dealership sales event? Well, Jordan Love, as many of you know, late in the season has had remarkable stats, and Toyota's picked up on this. The fans started it with like a social media campaign talking about Jordan Love and Toyotathon. The quarterback posted a photo of himself by a Toyota with a sweater last year, and the thing's taken off. Entering the year, 28 touchdowns, 2 picks during Toyotathon the last 2 years. Well, I guess Toyota says that sales event started last Sunday. Love 2 touchdowns, no interceptions last week, so that tally is now 30-2. Will that continue? Is it just some weird anomaly? Jordan Love doesn't tie it, of course, to Toyota. He ties it to the team coming together late in the season, the cohesiveness. They know what they're good at. They know what they're not quite so good at once they get this deep into a season, and they can really come together and do some good things. They've done it the last 2 years. Can they here? We will see. If you have any questions, of course, please send them my way via our Facebook page. We've probably got about 5 more minutes before I have to get ready for our 6 o'clock newscast here. I think, and I have said on the clock on our Sunday nights, that I think we will know a lot more about this Packers team by the time Thanksgiving's over with, and I really think that's true. Because if you can handle some business within the North and reassert yourself atop that division, it's going to bode well down the stretch. But if they can't get it done Sunday, and if they can't get it done in Detroit on Thanksgiving, it could be a sunk season. So these games are absolutely pivotal. And they put themselves in a little bit of a bind by losing games they should have won. They didn't pass that New York Giants test with flying colors, eking out a 7-point win. I really look forward to seeing also what the Packers defense can do against the Vikings. J.J. McCarthy has not looked settled in at the quarterback position. He's been clutch in a couple games, had a comeback week 1 against the Bears, delivered his team a late lead last week at home against that same Chicago squad. But at times, he has struggled, down to down. Can the Packers defense make him pay? Last week, 4 dropped interceptions. That's not going to get it done probably these next 3 weeks within the division. You have to capitalize and get off the field. And 2 of the 3 scoring drives for the Giants last week came after the Packers had dropped would-be interceptions earlier in the possession. If you get off the field, you don't have to be on the field for a 16-play drive, for a 15-play drive, really taking on opponents' best efforts with 4th down try after 4th down try. At one point, with the Packers going 3 and out, their defense had been on the field for 31 out of 34 scrimmage sacks. That is not a recipe for success in any way, shape, or form. If you're looking for a key for the defense, I would say, in addition to takeaways, if you get them, that's great. But I would say 3-and-out percentage. If you can get like 2 or 3 3-and-outs and quickly get off the field, I think that makes it such an easier task for you. You're not worn down late. You're not allowing teams to maybe hang around and have these long drives to shorten the game and keep the ball away from your offense. If there's more possessions, I think it favors the Packers. If there's more 3-and-outs, I think that defense can be fresher and not give up these 4 yards per carry here, 4 yards per carry there to allow teams to keep moving the ball down the field. Of course, Minnesota has a man at the running back position that is so intimately familiar with Green Bay, Aaron Jones, one of the best leaders I've ever seen in the Green Bay locker room. And what stands out to me of all his years here isn't one of his running highlights. If you remember 2 years ago, Dontavion Wicks tripped and fumbled by himself against, I believe, the LA Rams at home. And was coming to the sideline head down, and Aaron Jones went over, literally grabbed his helmet, pulled his chin up, and said, "Keep your chin up." Aaron Jones is such a good dude. He had decent performances against Green Bay last year, but not touchdowns. I think they knew he was looking to get the ball in the red zone. They kind of used him as a decoy at times. One other note before we log off here that I think's interesting. It's what Keyshawn Nixon told me in the locker room today about facing Justin Jefferson last year in week 3, actually, I think it was. Week 4. It was week 4. But it was the first time he had ever started at outside corner, not slot corner. And he was going against Justin Jefferson. And he had some glove coverage in the end zone, but it was a great back shoulder throw, and Justin Jefferson caught it for a touchdown. It looked like an indefensible pass, and really an indefensible pass catcher. But Nixon insists that he has learned so much since that day about playing the position of boundary corner and locking people up. His confidence seems to be at an all-time high right now. He leads the league in pass breakups this season. Can he continue to do that against elite receiver competition? And by elite, I mean the best. They faced Jamar Chase, held him bottled up most of the game, gave up 1 touchdown. That wasn't Nixon. And then this game against Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, it's going to be, and Speedy Naylor as well. It's going to be a tough task. If they can get that done, I think the Packers stand in good position to win this game, because I think across the roster the Packers have more talent, but can they bring that to bear as well? Once again, I will thank you effusively for joining us on our sports chat here today. Tune in to Action 2 News at 6. Of course, on Sundays at 10, we'll have full breakdowns during Action 2 News from 10 to 10:45 with On the Clock, reports, highlights, and more. It should be a fun week. It's Vikings week, a border battle, and an NFC North clash. Thanks for tuning in.